On today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show, I decided to share the talk that I gave on day 2 at the Crypto Mindset Reset Virtual Summit. I will have links down below in the video description for the website so that you can check out the replays, and you will also find day 2 was live streamed on the Rice TVX Rumble channel. Before we get into it, make sure you visit ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain content. You will also find links to all of my various channels as well as my social media. Make sure you're following both of my YouTube channels, Rice TVX as well as Rice Against the Grain. And due to censorship, make sure you follow me on other alternative platforms such as Rumble and Odyssey, where I do post up exclusive content. If you want to support Rice TVX, be sure to check out and join my Patreon channel, where you will get early access to my videos with no ads, unedited. You will also get exclusive content and more. To day 2 of the Crypto Mindset Reset Virtual Summit. I want to shout out Mr. Life Size Box and everybody else involved with making this thing happen. This has been an awesome experience, and I'm looking forward to the future events that take place with the Crypto Mindset Reset. So my name is Chris Rice, and I am the host of 2 YouTube channels. Most people will be familiar with me from Rice TVX and my new channel, Rice Against the Grain. When I first started my channel back in January of 2018, and I'm talking about a YouTube channel, but you can also find me on Rumble, Odyssey, Library, and BitChute as well. But when I started my channel in January of 2018, I started as Rice Crypto, started talking about cryptocurrency, economics, really trying to promote what anarchy and voluntarism is, and also a little bit about agorism, which I'm going to be talking a little bit more in today's conversation. So when I started my channel, again, it was very crypto and economic focused. I did that for a couple years and really kind of got bored with what I was doing and really wanted to expand out. So I started adding an extra element to my channel, which was Stranger Than Fiction. So then I started dividing my channel up into 3 shows: the Rice Crypto Show, focusing on crypto and blockchain; Rice Report, focusing on economics and politics; and Stranger Than Fiction allowed me to go down the rabbit hole of fringe topics, conspiracies, study law about the ideas of legal fiction, as well as status correction, looking into hidden and alternative history, as well as spirituality and more. So then I started rebranding my channel. So when I started restructuring, that took place around March of 2020. It was a good time for that because of everything that started transpiring during that time period as well. So towards the end of 2020, I started rebranding from Rice Crypto to Rice TVX, since my channel wasn't crypto focused, and continued doing the 3 shows and had a fun time, but dealing with a lot of censorship. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this are familiar with the fact that YouTube has been taking down videos, channels, giving people strikes. And that's something that I've been dealing with heavily since December of 2019. Now, with that being said, over the past few years of dealing with that, I really started to, I really need to take what I'm doing with Rice TVX more seriously in regards to the crypto and economics. And what I mean by that is my source of income. I do this full time, and the Stranger Than Fiction content is what was causing my channel problems. For the most part, the majority of my problems, I would say 95%, were all from that content. And so I decided to go ahead and split my channel up into 2 channels. And instead of calling it Stranger Than Fiction, because it's a very generic name and there's lots of other channels using Stranger Than Fiction or Strange Fiction, and as to not to be confused and to keep all things Rice, I went ahead and started a new channel called Rice Against the Grain. So that's where I'm featuring what was known as the previous Stranger Than Fiction content is over on Rice Against the Grain. And now Rice TVX is back to being hyper-focused on cryptocurrency and education of economics. I'm really big into the cypherpunk ideologies. I'm a very big proponent of privacy and decentralization. And I believe in the original vision of Satoshi Nakamoto from my perspective, which is a peer to peer cash system. I really like the idea of being your own bank. And something over the past few years that a lot of people know me can attest for is I started really losing interest in a lot of cryptocurrency because of the fact that the traditional banking system that I felt that Bitcoin and other decentralized cryptocurrencies were created for us to get away from. And now we see some of the creators of Ethereum, Joseph Lubin with Consensus doing CBDC white papers, Ripple CBDC white papers. Now, obviously, we should be expecting that from a company like Ripple, but seeing all these entities working with the legacy system, seeing all these centralized exchanges, everything that was going on, I knew that a lot of the things that entities like Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, I knew a lot of the things they were offering with the interest for staking your stable coins was not something that was going to be sustainable. And I really was trying to keep people away from leaving their funds on centralized exchanges and custodial services unless they're fully aware of the risk that they're taking and people are fully aware and willing to lose what they have in their investments if they leave it on a centralized custodial platform such as Celsius. So you got to know the risks that come into play with that. Now, what's happened recently with everything from a few months ago with Terra Luna, the crash of Terra Luna, with Celsius going down, with Voyager going down, and most recently with FTX, Sam Bankman Fried, and not being sure about the aftermath of the contagion, it started to bring more attention back to the ideologies that I believe in. And it really started to reignite my love and passion for cryptocurrency because it gets me back to basics. It gets me back to why I got involved in cryptocurrency in the first place. It really excited me. It was a travesty, and it is a travesty that this has happened. But the one thing that all the entities that I just mentioned, Terra Luna, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, FTX, the one thing that they all have in common is that they're centralized custodial services. So it shows a failure in that system. And I've also been trying to advocate very much in a lot of different manners on different people's shows and on my own channel that what has happened with all these different recent incidents, especially FTX, has nothing to do with cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. It has nothing to do with the technologies. There's no reason to say that this is a Bitcoin problem. This is a cryptocurrency problem. What happened with FTX and all the other situations was a human problem. Now, whether or not Terra Luna, Celsius, and Voyager, especially Terra Luna and Celsius, may have seen their downfall because of manipulation that was taking place with FTX that has yet to be proven, but that looks like it could be possibly true. But that doesn't excuse the activities that took place and the action that took place for these platforms either, especially Celsius with some of their risky investments that they were making with customer funds. So, with that being said, I'm really excited to be here and be able to share this message. So, if you're not familiar with me as a content creator, I definitely encourage you to make sure you subscribed on both of my YouTube channels, Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain. I would encourage you to go to my website at ricetvx.com, sign up for my mailing list so that you can stay updated with all of my content as it comes out and all the news that I want to share with you guys. And you will find links to my channels and my social media sites. I also encourage you guys to make sure you're following me on alternative platforms such as Rumble, which we are live streaming on my Rumble channel as well. So make sure you follow me on Rumble. I am also a big supporter and post up my content on Odyssey, which uses the library blockchain as a backbone. So I'm also on anything that's going to be on Odyssey is going to be on library. And you can also find my content again on BitChute. So be sure to check out those platforms. I would definitely really appreciate it. And one of the underlying things about me as a content creator at the core of the message that I try to bring with my videos and with what I do, with the walk that I walk in this life, is this philosophy that I call practice change. And practice change is something that I encourage you watching this to use. Hashtag practice change. And the idea of practice change is simply being the change that you want to see in this world. One of the things that I've noticed is a lot of people like to bitch and complain about things that they don't like. But instead of bitching and complaining and putting that negative energy out there, be the change that you want to see and set that example for other people. And the more of us that do that, the more that we need government regulation, where we don't need Big Brother, but we're not ready to be self-governed at this point. But it is a seed that I try to plant for future generations, and it is something that I try to manifest and inspire. Now, the walk and the path of being on practice change is not something where I can tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, this is how you do it. This is a very customizable thing. We all have our own individual unique life, and we're all going to look at things differently. But if we actively try to be a better version of us every single day, and when we wake up that next day, we really reevaluate what took place that day before. And you think about the things that were good and you think about the things that were bad, and you learn from all of those things, good or bad, positive or negative, and you reapply that every single day. I also like waking up with an attitude for gratitude. It's a really cheesy saying, but when you wake up, think about something that you're thankful for and really set your tone. And I challenge you to try this for 7 days. And if you enjoy how it makes you feel like you're thankful for, and see how it sets the tone for your day. When you go out and you interact with individuals, whether you know them or not, treat people how you want to be treated. It's really simple. And the more of us that do that, the more that we can affect change. But it starts with us individually. And individually, we have that power to make change. And then collectively, when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people. And that's another thing that I'm trying to manifest, is that when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people. But realize the power that you have individually. Because I don't know what kind of effect what I have to say in my videos, on my channels, on social media here today is going to have on another person, another individual. I don't know. And we don't know what kind of impact that we have on other people. So when you have these interactions with people, think about what kind of impact you're leaving, because you're leaving an impact regardless, whether you think you are or you aren't, whether it's a big or small impact. And that's part of being the change that you want to see in the world. Now, are you going to fuck up and make mistakes? Yeah, I mean, there's no way that you can do this in a perfect manner. But that's why I call it practice change. I like to consider myself a spiritual person. I'm not religious. And as I started looking into a lot of different religions and spiritual beliefs, I was looking a lot into Buddhism. And one of the things that I really liked about Buddhism is an individual who's follows the teachings of Buddha. They don't call themselves Buddhist. Someone who's not familiar with Buddhism might say, refer to like some monks as Buddhists, but they wouldn't refer to themselves as Buddhists. They would refer to themselves as practicing Buddhists, because if you were a Buddhist, you would have achieved enlightenment. So a practicing Buddhist is practicing to achieve enlightenment. And I kind of wish people who identify as Christians would do the same thing and call themselves practicing Christians, because many hypocrites that really just unfortunately make that name very tainted and very sour, because most people who claim to be Christians don't walk a walk of Christ. Now, does that mean that if you try to walk and follow the teachings of Christ that you're going to do it perfectly every day? No. And that goes back to practicing and making it something that you can do. And the more that you practice, I'm sure that you guys watching this have practiced something in your life. The more that you practice things, the better that you get at it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. But, the biggest thing too that I really want to let people know is when you do make mistakes and you do kind of get off your path, You cannot beat yourself up and just dwell in it in a negative way. You need to pick yourself up and learn from your mistakes and just continue to move forward. Sometimes it's hard, and this particular path of being the change that you actually want to see in the world is not an easy path by any means, but it's something that I feel personally is necessary. One of the reasons why I also have made this very public is because I'm 47 years old, and there's been a lot of times in my life I've done things that I wasn't proud of and started developing bad habits or whatever the situation might have been, and tried going through changes and would want to better myself. And then things would start getting better and I would start getting comfortable. And then I might fall back into bad routines or pick up different bad habits and didn't have anything to be accountable to. And it's really kind of hard to actually tell people that, you can't even be accountable to yourself. So I had to start making this a public statement and start talking about this publicly because I can't be a hypocrite. I can't talk about this. I've got to walk the walk that I'm talking about. And that's what I'm trying to share in this first part of what I wanted to talk about. So I hope you found value, and I hope that you like this concept of practice change and being the change that you want to see in the world. And again, if it does inspire you, please start using hashtag practice change on your social media post. And, feel free, because this is just something that I just wanted to ignite the fire. I need people to help me keep this fire lit. I need more people to practice change and be the change that they want to see in this world so that we can make a difference collectively. And again, when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people. Now, one of the other things that I talk about too on Rice TVX, and I've been focusing on this a lot more recently, are central bank digital currencies, because it's kind of the antithesis of what I was talking about with the original vision of Satoshi Nakamoto is coming. There's nothing that we can do to stop these things from coming. So when it comes to regulation, one thing I definitely am encouraging people to do is communicate with your politicians. Get involved politically however you can. We need to do things to shape more positive legislation so that we get the CBDC that's going to be good for the people and not going to be giving absolute control to the central banks and governments. It is possible for us to have a CBDC that could be beneficial if it is created in the right manner, regulated in the right manner. But if people don't get involved in any sort of political aspect, whether it's writing to your senators and congressmen, whether it's getting involved and supporting them on the street, whether it's joining their campaigns. There's a lot of different things that people can do to make your voice heard and communicate what you want these so-called public servants to do with your vote, because they're supposed to be representing your vote. Now, ultimately, I would love to see us get to a point where this blockchain technology makes all of that obsolete, that we can replace politicians with smart contracts voting on the blockchain, because the whole idea of a senator and a congressman is just to represent your vote. And that's an antiquated system that was created when we didn't have the technologies that we have today. And with the technologies that we have today, we don't need to go through some antiquated way of voting for other people to vote for us. It just doesn't make sense. So, but we have to get involved and be the change that we want to see, and actually walk that walk for us to make these kind of things realities. Because if we do not, then we're going to get the regulation that we don't want, that's not good for the United States, that's not good for us, we the people. We're going to get the central bank digital currency that's not going to be good for we the people. We're going to get a CBDC that's going to be absolute authoritative control. And that's obviously what they want. And as long as people remain silent, that's what we're going to get. Now, that's going to lead me into agorism. Agorism is all about counter economics, parallel societies, parallel marketplaces, the non-aggression principle, and causing no harm, which goes back to treating people how you want to be treated, which is really essentially just practice change. And really, agorism is the free market. But if we think about the governments and central banks trying to create an ecosystem that in order to participate, you have to listen and be controlled and follow the rules. If you don't, you may not be able to use this programmable money, because these CBDCs can be attached to social credit scores, that could be attached to a digital ID, that's going to be attached to your carbon footprint and whatever you're doing to destroy our beautiful planet, you bad person. So you see what I'm saying? As an alternative, in addition to trying to communicate information and getting involved politically, we need to create our parallel society, parallel marketplaces, and use counter economics, not use their money, their currency. I got to correct myself. It's not money, it's currency. And if you want to know about the difference between money and currency, check out Rice TVX, because I talk about this. There is a difference between the two, and what we're dealing with is currency. And the only things that have value is the value that we give. So when it comes to counter economics, we can use puka shells. We can use Bitcoin. We can use Doge. We can use Litecoin. We can use whatever we want. We don't have to use US dollars. We don't have to use credit cards. We don't have to use PayPal. We don't have to use Cash App. We don't have to use Venmo or any of the legacy system. It's whatever we assign value. So we create a parallel society, a parallel economic system, a counter to what we're dealing with currently, counter to what's coming. Because if we're unsuccessful in getting a CBDC that's going to be good for the people, then parallel societies, parallel marketplaces, and counter economics are going to be really important. That's why I would really encourage you to, if you didn't see the speech that Jason Crow from Cordal did earlier, I participated a little bit in that. Great conversation, great project, and I think that that blockchain in particular would be able to give us a lot of ways to be able to utilize the blockchain for private communication, to create these marketplaces, to create because they already have a lot of the infrastructure already built in for some of the things that I'm talking about. But I want to go beyond that as well. But the idea that we create our own system, we could have people that are farming co-ops. We can create our own supply chains. It's limitless what we can do to make sure that we can survive and thrive without having to rely upon being a good citizen and listening to the state and giving up your privacy and your security, because that is what is coming. And this is what agorism is all about. And it goes into play with voluntarism. That is the same. Voluntarism is literally a non-aggressive principle, doing no harm. And the word anarchy is not anything to do with lawlessness or chaos or pandemonium or even bad things. The word anarchy, from an etymology, means no or without. Archon means master or ruler. So it means no ruler, no master. And if you think about the term monarchy, the people who live in the UK who now have a king, they're monarchists. People in Russia, they're oligarchists. If you don't have a king or a master or ruler, you, in theory, are an anarchist. But I kind of gave up the fight about promoting what anarchy is, ultimately because in 2020, we started seeing a lot of things happening with Antifa, a lot of violence taking place, and the media likes to use the word anarchy in connection with that. And unfortunately, no matter what a word is defined as, no matter what the etymology of your word is, if socially people agree this is what it means, then that's what people are going to accept that it means. So even though I say anarchy doesn't mean lawlessness or chaos or anything to that effect, that's what people have socially agreed that it means. And there's some fights that people need to be willing to give up that's not worth fighting, because I still get to promote all the same ideologies without having to use a word that's going to trigger the algorithm or trigger people and turn people off, because ultimately I want to reach more people and I want to be able to get these messages that I'm trying to educate and help people with in regards to how I think about cryptocurrency, and then try to spread the messages of practice change, to spread the message that when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people, and to let people know that we have power to make change. And I hope that what I said resonates. And again, I would really encourage you, before I wrap things up, check out my website, ricetvx.com. The first thing that's going to pop up is a pop up box for my mailing list. Sign up for my mailing list. And once you're done with that, close, and you will see a link or links for all of my social media. You'll find a link for Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain on YouTube. You'll find my Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute channels. You'll find my social media like my Twitter. I'm on Truth Social. I'm on float.app. And I was trying to think if there was any other social media sites that I had on there. I can't remember offhand, but you can find everything at ricetvx.com. Again, make sure you subscribe to both of my YouTube channels. They are Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain. Make sure if you're watching this on Rumble right now, you're subscribed on Rumble, and take time to hit that plus, rumble this video. It would be greatly appreciated. And thank you again for everybody in the live chat. I do appreciate that. Before I pass things over, I do want to take an opportunity here real quick and just refresh my Rumble, see what everybody has to say in the live stream, see if there's anything going on here that I need to pay some attention to or maybe address. I do appreciate Pirate Loots. I hope I said that correct. R, no, I'm assuming you're an R dude. I'm not sure who you're referring to as a sexy SOB, but if it's me, I would agree, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. It doesn't really look like there's much going on. Emerging Tech Mastery. Solid sermon. Thank you. If I could, I would drop the mic, but I'm not dropping this mic because it's a little too expensive. So thank you again. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're sticking around for the rest of the activities happening here on Crypto Mindset Reset for the next, I believe, 2.5 hours. And I know there's going to be an after party that's going to be taking place. I believe that's going to be, I'm trying to think, Bolt Metaverse. I was just trying to get my brain to keep going and going and going, and it worked. And thank you, brain. I appreciate you cooperating with me right now. Mike, are you live with me?
Yes, we are.
We're together.
Can you believe it? Can
I
you
love
believe
it, man.
On
How
the
did
air.
I do? Did I do okay, man?
On the air, we were amazing. You're amazing. Really, really appreciate you jumping in and being a part of the summit. We need more people with a voice like yours. And I know you talked about practice change. I think that is so important. I want to reiterate that for the crowd. And then absolutely follow. Yeah, you got to follow Rice TVX because he's going to bring the great content, and he always has. I mean, he has for years. So we see it coming. It's coming around the corner. I don't know if you were able to preview any of your content, but yeah.
No, I didn't do a screen share, but what I will tell people is I did release 2 interviews today. So after all this is done and finished, maybe tomorrow, take time and watch these interviews with Lynette Zhang. I have a partnership, a promotional partnership with ITM Trading. So if you're interested in doing any sort of gold and silver strategies, that's what they help people out with. You can learn more about that in part 1 of my 2-part interview with Lynette Zhang. That's for people who it's a minimum of $5,000. Very reputable company, though. If you guys aren't familiar with Lynette Zhang as a YouTuber, she is amazing. Amazing. She's like a kick-ass cool grandma who can like decipher financial noise into something that people can really easily understand. She's been in understanding charts and banking for over 30 years, and I'm blessed to be able to have a relationship with her and have her on the show. And then the other thing for people that not everybody can afford a minimum of $5,000. So I also work with Money Metals Exchange. You know, with all this inflation that we're dealing with, I'm a big proponent of precious metals in addition to cryptocurrency. I feel they both have their place. I'm not a maximalist in any degree. I'm just anti-fiat. So with Money Metals Exchange, people can actually get a free 1/2 ounce of silver with my partnership. What they would need to do is go to moneymetals.com and be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100 worth of goods, and really like 5 ounces of silver would do that. And at the checkout, you put the promo code RICETVX. you get a half ounce of silver, and it supports my channel. If you also want to support me, I have a Patreon channel that you guys can check out at Rice TVX. I post up early access to my videos unedited with no ads. You would have gotten the Lynette Zhang interviews yesterday. And I also put up exclusive content over there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to talk about before I bounce and see you guys at the after party?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for telling everyone about kind of what you're doing and what's coming up. I know for a fact that Rice's Patreon is chock full of amazing stuff. He's got some great levels in there, some great opportunities for people, viewers out there to catch his videos early, which is incredible because there's usually breaking news or something that you want to hear out of these.
Well, a lot. I
Interviews.
mean, like I had the pleasure of interviewing John McAfee more
Right.
times than anybody else, and a lot of those interviews, if they weren't live, were uploaded immediately to Patreon unedited. Sometimes you got to see behind the scenes stuff that got cut out in the final edit of the video, like before the interviews start. So, and I've interviewed a lot of really interesting people, a lot of, to me, some high profile people, a lot of people who have done some amazing things in the world to bring about change. Some people, they've gotten arrested by the government because they don't agree with what they've done, which, I love those kind of individuals, especially if it's positive for humanity. So, yeah, I definitely, people will definitely like what they get over there on my Patreon.
Yeah, and don't forget to talk about the Cypherpunk series that you put out recently. That was inspiring, man. And what I want to pinpoint about that is it's really interesting because we talk about these people that are kind of like, going against the grain. Let's say people like Hal Finney, Phil Zimmerman, back in the day in the early '90s, they counted encryption as if it were munitions, and then they said we're gonna really go after these people like they're creating encryption. We're gonna throw them in jail forever, and they could have. But there was obviously he printed it in a book. It became free speech, and the government backed off. But these are the sort of things that they'll do to us, and the sort of things they're still doing. So it's good to have an alternate perspective, and I encourage everyone to check out that Cypherpunk series. I think you have a playlist, right?
Yeah, I have the must-watch crypto playlist in my YouTube playlist section on Rice TVX, and you'll find the videos about CBDCs because the New York Fed just a few weeks ago launched the pilot of the digital dollar. So it's kind of like me, again, kind of getting reinvigorated with what's happened with crypto and kind of getting back to basics, why I got involved. And then another thing that I do explain is why crypto, because, here's the thing, like the technology, we're really early. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot more advancements in technology, but what cryptocurrency and blockchain technology offer the world, the disruption that they offer, and how early we are, and knowing that there's going to be so much more advancement in technology that we're just at the beginning, it's a beautiful thing.
It really, really is. And to say it's a beautiful thing is an understatement. This is, and just briefly, because I don't want to keep you Rice, and we've got other things to talk about for sure. Great things. We got some great guests.
Well, who's coming up? Like, who's coming up?
Bring them on.
Yeah,
so
we got
so
2.5 hours though. Who's coming up for the next 2.5 hours?
All right. We better just get to the important stuff.
I want to know who's coming up. Yeah,
you want to know. Of course, you want to know. Are you kidding me? It's going to be amazing.
Because my brother from another mother, I have a few brothers from another mothers, and I have lots of other mothers that have other brothers. But this one would be Seth from Mind Your Biz, I believe.
All in the family. We're keeping it all in the family. Yes, at 3:00, maybe a little bit earlier than that. We have Seth coming up, so we're really looking forward to that. You mentioned the after party that's starting at 5. We're going to actually preview that at the end of the summit here. So
I'm going to be a little late for that because, and I'm sure Seth is, if he can attend, because we're going to be going live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Debate Crypto. It's going to be myself, Seth from Mind Your Biz, Crypto Crow, and Crypto Keeper from Debate Crypto.
Those are some of the best guys that I know on YouTube, crypto YouTube. It's absolutely always entertaining, and the thing is that you're always getting quality information. It's not like here's a bunch of fluff, and then we're going to dance around in the studio and flip the lights on and off, and then I'm going to do the thing.
I forgot to dance.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. Nothing wrong with that. But we're doing good work here. The community, the families here, we're all here to support each other, and I just can't thank you enough for making time to be out here.
Hey, thank you for doing this thing, man.
This is my passion, man. I love to help people, and I felt like this is a great way to do it. Thank you
And
so
thank
much for your kind words.
everybody who's helping, man.
Bryce, I
Thank the
just
director in the
Yes.
house.
Thank you, man. The
Yes.
director speaking. I finally figured out. I think my mic's working. I just wanted to say, I actually got a chance with me and my community on Discord. We actually got a chance to interview McAfee as well, and I'm definitely going to send you a link to that. You got to check out the McAfee job. It's a wild hour, and I think you'll like
Sweet.
it. Yeah, man. Thank you again. You're awesome. Everyone here is awesome, and I'm gonna get back to work.
Excellent, excellent. So thank you for directing, Boogie, and thank the whole team. Yeah, behind the scenes, it's been working hard to make sure that things go as smooth as they can.
Shout out
And
to Buttercup.
Buttercup, you know, Bobcat is like ever present. This guy, it seems like, hey, I need Bobcat, you're there, you got it. What's up, man?
He's
doing
like
the
a
hard work.
beautiful fart, just lingers in the right way.
The right kind.
Just the right way.
Oh
I
my
love you,
God, I didn't
Bobcat.
know there was. I didn't know there was one. Okay, so we're doing great work though, and I appreciate you coming on, Rice. And Rice was a media partner, and I did appear on his channel a couple times. It was really nice of you to have me on. I want to talk a little bit briefly, and I want to keep you Rice, but I just really need to highlight Edge Wallet as one of our best sponsors. It's our title sponsor. They're incredible.
Paul plays good people, man. He's good people. And when people get a chance to catch the replay of day one, once you guys are done editing it, people are definitely going to check out that keynote speech with Mr. Paul Play.
Yeah, why it's important to hold your keys. And he had an amazing presentation on day one. What a great keynote speaker. So I couldn't be happier to have Edge involved, and we're going to keep Edge involved. So you're going to hear a lot more. Don't forget to check out the treasure hunt that we offer at cryptomindsetreset.com. Learn a lot about our sponsors, learn a lot about crypto, and check out all of our sponsors. I mean, are you kidding me? We have one of the best groups in crypto, and we're only growing. We're only getting bigger. We're only getting better. We also put together a great quest chains. And so if you're not familiar with quest chains, go to our site, click on quest chains as one of our sponsors, and thank Uplift and everyone for presenting, Corey and Samantha. And then we do have Seth coming up from Mind Your Biz. And then we're going to move into a panel, and I would like to announce that Miggy unfortunately will not be making it. We just got confirmation he is not going to be able to make it today. He had a family emergency.
Yeah, so I want to encourage everybody out there, take a moment and send some positivity, some love Miggy's way. Definitely needs it. Family stuff happen. There's a lot of travesties, and sometimes our friends need our love. So send some good vibes his way. It would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, that is. I totally agree. He's going through some tough times, as things do, and so that's life, and we're gonna be there to support people that need it. We have a great meetup group as well, and it's very supportive as well. So one of our meetup members passed away recently, so just RIP to him. And this is the way we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna have to support each other through these hard times and through the good times. We can do it, and that's why we're here for each other, and that's how we do it.